Hi, everybody.
Howdy.
This is our first episode of our Media Jams podcast. This Media Jams used to be the name of something else that we did.
Yes, and now it's
That if you do some digging, you can probably find it on YouTube.
I don't know.
But now it's the name of this new podcast we have.
Now it's a new thing. So it was the name of the old thing, but now it's the name of the new thing.
And there's your little behind the scenes look.
Riveting.
This week we watched two movies, as you can see. We watched Hot Frosty, and we watched Queen Kong.
Yeah, it was kind of a gender-themed week, I guess.
It was a very gender-themed week. What would you say that Hot Frosty had to say about gender? If anything.
Oh, that, well, you know what? No, because I think they actually are both the same. I think they both have the same take on gender.
What both
almost.
movies have? Oh, okay.
Well, they're both gender swaps on popular concepts.
Are they?
Well, I would say Hot Frosty's a little looser on whether or not it's strictly that.
Because I'm used to seeing kind of a himbo guy that comes into like a world where he doesn't know what's going on.
Well, like I'm talking about like
so cute.
More like an everyday guy in like a girl from another world. Think about that.
Oh.
Who's like discovering the modern day world. Like Fifth Element. Born Sexy Yesterday.
Oh, bada big boom, yeah.
Bada bing boom. Bada bing boom. I turned her into a mobster. Hey, what's up, Bruce Willis? That's his character name. But they're both, and then of course Queen Kong is literally King Kong gender swapped to a very shocking degree. Like every person who is, like, just there's parts where sometimes women and men are different in society and sometimes they're not, and then there's like just plenty of times where it's inexplicable that there's a woman who makes movies and is looking for her first male actor for her films. Despite, yeah. Like, in like, otherwise, it does seem like men are... It does seem like the patriarchy still exists in this world, but...
That's the interesting thing. I guess we're going to talk about Queen Kong first, because I do want to...
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I want to touch on the... how, at the beginning of the movie, like, when they're in New York, it just seems like, you know, how you would expect... you know, the 70s society to run.
70s New York,
very, like, male-driven society.
Yeah.
But I feel like as soon as they, like, get on the boat and they, like, proceed with the rest of the plot, it's suddenly, like...
matriarchal.
Yeah. The movie forgets that it takes place in, like, the real world, and it's suddenly, like, a backwards world where, like, women... are replaced with men in terms of like how society functions.
Yeah, so it's just there is the same oppression. It's just coming from a matriarchy rather than a patriarchy. Yeah. And it's like, but it's not consistent because like they get on the boat and for some reason the boat feels very matriarchal, and that's like, okay, maybe it's the director, but right. then they get to the tribal society and that's matriarchal, which again could be explained in story. But then they come back to New York, and then it just kind of, like, continues being matriarchal.
Yeah, it keeps going with the gender thing.
Yeah, but, like...
It's very odd.
Wait, did New York change while we were gone? That's what I feel. It's a very confused film. It has something to say about second wave feminism, but... And I'll be damned if I know what that is.
The plot is literally, like... It's very much just a copy and paste of King Kong. Like, if you know the plot of King Kong, then you know the plot of this movie. You can just replace all of the genders.
Oh, with comedic twists, of course. Well,
yeah,
too.
with little jokes, jokey jokes.
Spoiler alert: it ends on a much more happy note, right? Am I wrong? Don't they just let them go?
Yeah.
They just let the...
Yeah, no. Queen Kong does not die.
She gets to have her little boy toy.
Mm-hmm. And
they're far more explicitly like in a romantic relationship, and to the point where
he's very happy about it.
It doesn't even seem that sexual so much as like...
No, they're just like, they like to cuddle.
They like to cuddle and like they want to have like a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah. Yeah, I mean, the movie doesn't take itself seriously, which thank goodness.
It has a really good soundtrack.
If it did, I don't know what I would do.
Do you remember the like
Oh!
like 70s groove
Yeah,
score?
it was shockingly pretty decent. And then like
Oh, and then it had Queen Kong has like a vocal theme song where it's like
sung by the
she's my queenie for my weenie.
it's sung by a band in universe called the Orangutans.
Yeah.
And they all wore like I was gonna say Planet of the Apes kind of masks, but they were like that but cheaper. They were definitely not that level.
I very much enjoyed.
I only have
Kong.
respect for the Planet of the Apes series.
I just didn't like obviously the
Entire.
racist bits. The racist bits.
Oh yeah, there were some weird racism. Ironically, I feel like it's one of the less racist adaptations of
No, you're right.
It sucks. King Kong is just so fucking racist.
It
Even
feels,
in like the Peter Jackson one is
Yeah.
like grossly
it
racist.
feels like it's pointing fun at how racist King Kong is.
Yes, but it's
But
not.
at the same time, it's still just doing goofy racist tropes.
It's like very mainstream 1970s. Look at us poke fun at the racism without actually doing anything different or calling out the racism in any way that is meaningful. It's man, I told you, remembering this movie is like remembering a dream. It's very hard for me to like. It didn't feel like it made enough sense for me to like remember it like a solid
no, the
plot.
whole movie like operates off of dream logic.
And it's so ironic because it is just the plot itself is just a rip from King Kong, yet they made it less sensical. Oh man, and we watched King Kong semi recently, and somehow that was significantly more offensive as just on a whole.
Well, yeah.
Just about gender,
it was also
about
for
race.
like 50 years prior
That's-
to Queen Kong.
That is fair. Well, 50 years.
What is it, 30?
20? Wait.
This is from the 1930s.
No, you're right. 30.
40, 50, 60, 70.
You're
Okay,
totally
40
right.
years.
40. You were
So
close.
I was close.
You were totally right, and by that I mean you were not right, totally right, but you were close enough.
That's what matters in terms of math.
Yeah, it's like we're doing horseshoe math on this channel. Do you have anything else you want to say about Queen Kong?
No, that's Queen Kong. I mean, I think there's definitely enjoyment to be found in it. It's goofy, and if you can get past some of the like more problematic bits, I like that whole like. I just really feel comfortable in that like super low budget 70s like kind of sleazy era of filmmaking.
It's a bit. It's
Where
a.
I feel like you can smell the sweat on the actors as you're watching it.
I would say you got to be in the right mood for this, but otherwise you got to be in the right mood and you got to have a little bit of there's some problematic
the whole
elements.
thing feels very human to me.
That's fair. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's worth a watch though. I would
Like they don't make movies like this, and I'm not saying that in the way of like oh, they don't make movies like this.
like we want to go
nowadays.
back.
Yeah,
we don't want to go back.
But what I mean by that is that it feels like this movie was made with absolutely no regard for like anything that like a corporation wanted. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
This is very clearly like
someone's pet project.
This
Yeah,
is
somebody
that,
wanted this
that
to get
human
made
beings
so
wanted
bad.
to make. As opposed to Hot Frosty. So I feel like we should move on because I think that's the major difference is that Hot Frosty feels like it was made.
Oh my
like
god!
on commission from a company. Which
It's like
I mean, it's a Netflix movie.
It feels so much like they have their own like little like. Not even like they weren't even using Chat GPT. They had their own private little AI that they only fed like the most top trending shit, and they were like, all right, it's Christmas time. We need a movie idea. Hot girl summer translates through the algorithm. What if Frosty were hot? Hot Frosty.
And they so I've seen this movie twice in the past week, And what I'm still baffled by is that, like, nothing happens in it.
Well,
So,
I'm
like,
gonna be honest.
what?
Nothing happens in the same way that nothing happens in Frosty.
Okay,
Do-
yes,
like-
but the thing is, Frosty is like 30 minutes long.
That is true.
Hot Frosty is 90 minutes long.
It's a hot 90 minutes long.
It's so if you're looking at the poster right now, it's what I can imagine you think it is. She puts a scarf on a snowman, and the snowman turns into a hot guy.
He was made of snow. Dun-dun-dun-dun. She put a scarf on him. Hot Fro-
He wakes up and he's naked because he's like a naked ice sculpture guy.
Yeah, someone made it. I like to think that when they made the ice sculpture, they like shaped out his dong too.
Yeah,
Like he was like full on David. And they were like, just like, it's art. And then
and they
everyone
just didn't show it
everyone's-
on the screen.
Like, because this town, the one thing I've established is this town just they'll just go with anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like, they were probably just like, you know what, this is art. Just, you know what, makes me wish I kind of lived in this town.
No, yeah, because like this guy, he goes running around naked through the town for a few hours until he gets like picked up by the main girl and you know brought back home.
Well, he steals some clothes
He
first.
does steal some clothes, and then she finds him, and she's like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Come back to my house." And he's like, "Okay."
You brought me to life.
um,
He somehow knows this. He's like, for some reason, I think you brought me back. You brought me to life. The way he didn't have consciousness until after.
yeah, like how did you know that? But like several people in the town saw him streaking, and they make reference to it in the movie, and no one really like gives a shit.
No one cares.
Which is awesome.
Oh, no one cares. Okay, here's another thing that's unrealistic, and I wish I lived in this town for this unrealistic fantasy bullshit. No one cares except for a, quote, overzealous cop that doesn't do anything and no one is afraid of. Let me say that again. An American overzealous cop who no one is afraid of and doesn't do anything. He has this power and he is talking about using it all the time. And then somebody's like, I want to slap you hard. And he's just like, please don't. And it's like, what the fuck? It's just, and it sucks too because I can't remember names right now. But both the cops are played by two comedic actors who are both doing a great job in the movie and they're both really funny. One of them is unfortunately...
One of them is Craig Robinson? Or
That's his name, yes.
Craig Ferguson?
No, Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson?
Craig Ferguson is a talk show host, which
Okay,
is
my
funny.
bad.
Just a funny...
That's a different guy.
Yeah, he's
But
he's
yeah,
Scottish.
I don't remember who the white guy is.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. But they're both great. But Craig Robinson, unfortunately, is playing just an awfully written character.
He's annoying as hell. Just like he has so many jokes that are like literally the joke is that
He thinks he's cooler.
he thinks he's really like intimidating, and he'll just like get up in somebody's face and say something, like he'll start to say something and then like kind of fuck up his words.
Yeah, and then
And that's he just does that the whole time.
or he says
He got one
something
shtick.
and his like and the other cop is like, "Rah, they can't hear you. It's through the glass." And you know, makes some stupid fucking joke. And the thing is, he's like one of the better characters for that. He is the most generic, stereotypical dumbass character, and he's funnier than most of the other characters for that.
He's the best part of the movie,
He's just
in my opinion.
yeah. That's exasperation. That's what that sound was. I'm sorry. He is somehow one of the better characters. I do kind of like Hot Frosty himself, though. I think that's the actor, though. He's funny.
Yeah, in all seriousness,
His delivery
when
is
Hot
amazing.
Frosty is on screen, the movie is kind of bearable to watch because he has a really good energy to it.
He's very chipper. He
Yeah.
is very believable. And then like when he gets in trouble, he looks like a dog who gets in trouble a lot of the time. Like, but you still like me, right? And it's funny as hell because I just think the actor's fucking selling it. Gretchen's in this.
Yeah,
Gretchen.
from Mean Girls.
She.
Um, in my opinion, she's not very fetch in this movie.
No.
She's she needs to let Hot Frosty fly. She needs to let him spread his wings and fly.
I'm wondering how much the writing is so bad and inconsistent with characters that I'm wondering. So many characters feel like they were written just to make the other character shine.
That's the thing. Okay. So a lot of the complaints that I actually have about the main character, the girl, not Hot Frosty, not the titular main character. I feel like it's the fact that the writers just don't actually like give her a consistent personality.
No.
She just she exists to like say the things that like need to happen in the movie to get like the plot rolling.
The worst part is whenever they do try to add a little bit of like backstory elements, it's the stuff you hear in every romantic, all the Hallmark style ones. God.
Yeah, one of my
love is not. Oh, is that?
Hmm?
Oh, that love is not my vocabulary lately. It was like, I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, no real person says that.
My favorite part of the movie is when Hot Frosty is he has a name in the movie, but I refuse to call him that.
Sorry.
His name is Hot Frosty.
Sorry, jacking off Hot Frosty.
My favorite part of the movie is when he goes down into her basement to like move some stuff or whatever, and he finds an old box, and it's got like old marriage photos of her and her husband.
Oh God,
her dead husband.
I forgot about this. I forgot about those.
And then he goes upstairs and he like asks who that was, and she says, "Oh, that she tells him everything," and she said he died of cancer, and the first thing out of his mouth. He looks at her with these like deer eyes and a big smile on his face, and he goes, "What's cancer?" And she underreacts to that because I feel like the movie would have been a lot funnier if she like bursted into tears or something. They need to be bigger in this movie.
There was like weirdly
there was no emotion half the time. The only emotion's coming from Hot Frosty himself.
And Soup Cop,
yeah. Oh, another good part of the movie is when Hot Frosty's outside doing some yard work without his shirt on because he's a snowman.
I was gonna ask if you wanted to talk about it.
Of course I'm talking about it. Yeah. So like he's there's a running gag in the movie where he's like always hot when he's inside because like,
he's Hot Frosty.
He's a snowman and he's going to melt.
Oh, yeah.
So when he's outside, he's got his shirt off because he's like, it feels good.
It's less of a gag and more of the main plot.
Right.
Go ahead.
There's this running gag where this hot guy is a snowman.
And he'll die if he, like... I wonder what the climax is.
But anyway, there's the part where an old lady's like car breaks down, and he goes up to her and he's like, "Hey, you want me to help you out, give you a push?" And she's like, "Oh, yes, please." And she gets up, and he gets up behind her car and like starts like repeatedly pushing in such a way that it looks like he's doing sort of a humping motion, and this old lady is like actually getting off to it. And this is not me extrapolating off of anything. This is like, I'm literally telling you, this is textually what is happening in the film.
I remember the second time that we were watching that, I wanted to say thirsty grandma and I accidentally said wet grandma.
Wet grandma?
Yeah, I got really fucking...
Hot Frosty and wet grandma. My power couple. And it's because of Hot Frosty humping her car, by the way, that in the end she comes through with the rest of the town and decides to bail him out.
Oh,
because by the way, the real like plot of the movie, which kind of kicks in about halfway through, is that Craig Robinson wants to arrest Hot Frosty because he heard rumors that there was a guy streaking the other day.
And he was
And
right.
there's-
It is
Yeah.
hot Frosty.
And
He's right.
there's just literally nothing else that's happening in this town, I guess. So.
Oh, and he stole some clothes.
Right,
Some clothes.
right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the end of the movie is Hot Frosty. He basically turns himself in. And Craig Ferguson takes him to jail, and he spends the night in jail. But because he's in jail and it's like really hot in the jail cell, he starts melting, and he well, like, he doesn't like actually melt, like he doesn't turn into a pile of water or anything. But what happens is he just starts getting like really sweaty.
He's, like,
He basically
really
just has
sweaty.
like a heat stroke.
He looks like he's got like low blood sugar,
Yeah.
and he's like also just really warm.
So the main character and the rest of the town, they all show up outside the jail and just kind of accost Craig Robinson, and they're like, take all of our money. We're gonna pay for Hot Frosty's bail, because he's really hot, and he did a lot of kooky hijinks around town the other day, and it warmed all of our hearts, and we love Christmas.
Well, he did like help people. It's just he managed to help people, but like half the time he was doing it with like someone else's credit card and shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was all done. No,
It was really weird.
Everything that he really did was done on the main
And
character's credit card.
Imagine if a golden retriever was suddenly made human.
Yeah.
And like people wanted to post their bail because of how fucking silly and like weren't like how big hearted, even though they were fucking shit up all the constant. Yeah. I mean, like,
Hot Frosty's
Do
the
I
kind
think-
of guy that would chew up a bathroom door
yeah,
because he couldn't figure out how to open it.
do I personally think that Hot Frosty should have died in that prison cell? No.
Wow, hot take. Hot
I'm
Frosty
ha-
shouldn't die.
I'm
in
happy.
prison.
I'm happy he got. Well, he came out and he died. He died out in the street, and they left him.
That's the thing. They get him out of jail. They bail him out, and it doesn't matter because
It's too late.
Immediately, as soon as they get him out, he dies in the street, and they just put him on the ground, and they all start walking away,
Like hugging each other, going off to get some hot cocoa, or
But for some reason, the movie really doesn't give you a reason. It just happens through the magic of Christmas.
and I think she took back the scarf.
Yeah, she takes back her magic scarf, which that's the thing that you can see on the poster. He's wearing it. That's what brings him to life. She takes the magic
Like the
scarf
hat
off
and
of him.
the,
Yeah.
and the ridge.
Oh, the opening shot of the movie, by the way, is like the traditional Frosty hat, like blowing in the wind, and then it lands gently on like the street, and then it gets fucking crushed, run over by a car. Like, this is not your grandma's Frosty.
And then you see a traditional snowman, and then like a dog takes a piss on it, and then flips off the camera, and then no, I'm joking.
So anyway, they leave.
That doesn't happen.
They leave dead hot Frosty in the street, and they're all walking away. And
So
then
sad.
out of nowhere, he just like stands back up, and he's like, "Hey, I feel good."
He's like Kathy.
By the way, it's kind of cold. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're a real boy now." And so now he's no longer Hot Frosty. He's just hot guy.
Hot man. Hot. Can we say his name now since he's no longer Hot Frosty?
Yeah, they call him Jack.
He's Hot Jack.
Hot Jack.
So fucking generic that they call him. Yeah. Because
That's what you call a guy when you can't think of a name.
this movie legitimately might, I would say, like, you can't do a gag dub of this because you'd make a better movie.
Yeah, no, it would be funnier, and that would already be an improvement because there's just like the most I had to say about it was a plot recap.
Yeah.
I like
Also,
you
yeah.
can't really talk about the movie without just being like, there was a funny bit where this happened.
There are a few things that I want to talk about that were kind of like minorly glossed over.
Okay.
One, my favorite quote in the entire thing is when he is thinking about the things he did, like the crimes he committed, And he goes, if I did those things, maybe I should be in jail. It's so funny. He's like, just kind of, hey, maybe I should go to prison to her. And she's like, no! But another thing is, oh God, there's a car outside.
Sorry. There's a fucking car alarm going off outside. Oh,
Steal the car faster! I'm joking. Or am I? Or am... Yeah. Watch it be our truck, and it's like, well,
it's not.
Good job. No. Oh, the town just, like, she's just like, help, I need your help. He's in prison. The hot guy that you guys all met. He's in prison. And they're like, oh no. And she's like, he's gonna die because he's a snowman. And then the doctor who she went to was like, oh no, I checked him out and gave him a physical. He is a snowman. And they're like, whatever, it's Christmas. They
do just really brush past it because it's Christmas.
It is like, it does feel like they're like, we're running out of fucking time here. This is only 90 minutes long. This
is only 90 minutes and we spent the first 45 doing nothing. We have to wrap this up now.
Nothing but gags about how pretty this man is. As if, like, the audience can't tell.
Another thing I wanted to touch on was that this movie has, like, a negative amount of cinematography.
Oh my God.
Every single shot, every single shot in this movie is center frame.
It's not symmetrical like a Wes Anderson shot. Like, it's not artsy. It is totally, like, just center frame. Like, the subject is in the center frame where your eyes don't fucking focus if you know the rule of thirds.
There's also a camera cut, like, every fucking second. Like, it's cutting so much. It doesn't let you, like, linger in a single shot.
It's like every second, but not much faster than that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a very steady pace.
It's a weirdly steady pace to the point where you feel like you're like, it gets boring fast.
Mine and several other people's theory that I've talked to about it is that the movie shot that way for TikTok clips, so that it can be shared.
I buy it.
That way you can, like, cut off the sides of the shots that you're clipping, and everything will be in the center of the frame.
Unlike King Kong, I don't know if this one... I would say that this movie is not better than the sum of its parts.
No,
wait. The
what?
sum...
Oh.
What is that phrase? I completely butchered it.
I thought that was it.
Was it?
I thought so.
Maybe I just...
Okay. Anyway.
I'm insecure. Go ahead.
No, yeah, you're right, though. I feel like Hot Frosty's kind of not worth watching unless you just like this kind of, like, obvious slop. Like, it's the kind of thing that it's not fun to watch unless you have a bunch of friends with.
Or, like you said, like, if you're into that Hallmark kind of slop, which...
I mean, it has its own charm. Like, people don't fucking talk like this in anything else. If you like this kind of thing, like, this is where you get it.
Absolutely. I mean, it has an audience, but I would say it's oddly nicher than Queen Kong, which is weird. I didn't think I'd say that going in here, especially since I think Hot Frosty's going to be more popular. Can we address the elephant in the room?
Oh yeah, Hot Frosty, where's your pants?
The pants I'm wearing right now.
Mm-hmm.
How long have I owned these pants?
A few years.
You were there when I got them, right?
I think so, yeah.
You existed.
Yeah, I existed.
Like you didn't exist before you entered my life. If I was...
No, you've had those pants for a lot longer than the movie Hot Frosty has been around.
Oh, certainly. Since there's been a thought in somebody's head. Since Craig Robinson was approached for the worst role of his life. Or at least I think it's the worst role. You know what? Everything I've seen Craig Robinson in, I liked him. And this is the end. I have not seen Hot Tub Time Machine, but I've been meaning to.
Oh, that one's fun.
People say it's good. And he's in that, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure he was. Yeah. Can't think of anything else he's in. I mean, The Office. He's great in that.
I'm drawing a blank on, like, any other movie right now.
That other guy, I couldn't. I've seen him so many times, but I could not tell you where.
Yeah, I don't. He just didn't really look familiar to me.
Nobody in Queen Kong looked familiar except for the main.
Well, they were all '70s British people.
The main guy kind of looked like every member of Spinal Tap smooshed together.
All right, I don't really have anything else to say about these two movies. Do you?
She put a scarf on a snowman. Hot Frosty.